It feels like this might be a thing all year long, but
I love it too.
what's the bigger number this year? Vladdy home runs or Jordan Romano saves?
Could they both go 50? Like,
Could they
I
both
know
go
I'm
50?
getting
I
I'm
know,
getting
look.
insane here, but
Look, but it's not that insane. I think both guys have a shot at 40. Pretty, like, I mean, barring bad tacos, 40 isn't out of the question for either guy. And
I mean,
you
look at
need a
right
little bit
now.
of luck on either side of that to go to 50, right? And
We are 10 games into the season. Jordan Romano
took the lead in this
put
race.
just
Mhm.
just put that sixth save right into his
MLB
sheet.
leading sixth save.
How many wins do we project the Jays to have? Because technically, at this pace, Romano's going to save every single one of
He's on pace for
them.
100 saves. I mean, it's kind of crazy to think about. I know, when I was saying my early season predictions that Romano is a really cements himself as an elite closer this year. I think the thumbnail I had was like 50 saves question mark, and the
Mhm.
blowback on that was like, wow, the Jays are going to be in too many blowouts for him to get saves, right? But like so far that doesn't seem to be the case, and I still think 50 is a stretch.
Yes,
But like
obviously.
if he hits 40 or 45, I'm not going to be shocked by that.
I
No,
So,
not
mean,
at all.
50 home runs is a stretch.
yes.
But here we are 10 games into the year and Vladdy's at 5. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel Vladdy will. I was on the over group for the Vladdy hitting 50. I may have been on the over group for 60. I'm not, that's getting ridiculous. But the thing with Vladdy is that like his I always looked I just like to look at his dad. I like to look at his dad. And when his dad went from 22, his dad came to the league a year later. Okay.
Okay.
And at 21, his dad had a 400 OPS in a cup, like a cup of coffee worth of time in the majors. So Vladdy was having a 780 OPS when he was 20. So he was
mhm.
ahead of the pace of his dad. But when his dad went from 22 to 23, he added 150 OPS points. And I figure if and Vladdy Senior never made physical changes to his body. He was
Mm-hmm.
just this lean kind of beanpole of a guy his entire career. And Vladdy Jr. is physically changing his body. And I feel like you talk about the speed, talk about
Mm-hmm.
the way that his body has reconfigured itself over the weight that he has lost, but the weight that he has added for muscle. Like the 5 home runs that we have seen from Vladdy this season are the longest of his career, 3 in 1 game, 2 against Garrett Cole, and the longest opposite field home run of his career. Those are his 5. They've all been insane. Like the
Mm-hmm.
movie has been, he says that this is the movie. It's been worth it. It's been worth the price of admission for those 5 home runs. So I feel like that is 50 for him. Healthy is no
It's
problem.
happening, yeah.
Yeah, it's no problem. And for Romano, the fact that this team now seems to be in more games, in those tighter games, that bodes really well for his save opportunities.
Mhm.
And you haven't seen anybody as consistent as him. Josh Hader, it's like he's moving into that um,
Upper
Liam
echelon.
Hendricks,
Yeah, this is what
Yes.
I'm
Josh
saying.
Hader argument,
Yes.
right? Like he really is, and so I see that this being an amazing matchup all season long, barring anything
And
scary.
we're going to follow it all season long now. And
Yeah,
before we say our goodbyes, I did wish to just once again like give a little toot here, to Tim Meza and Jimmy Garcia, I should say, who have been both of them have been phenomenal. I know I think it was Connor on Twitter who's we already wished him a happy birthday, but he mentioned he like tweeted at us and he was just like, "Boy, Jimmy Garcia gave me Rafael Dolis kind of like flashbacks there to early last year where we were constantly like Dolis would go in there and he'd bend but he wouldn't break. Eventually
Mm-hmm.
Dolis did break. But like that was yesterday to a T, where Garcia comes in and he wound up with the bases loaded but he didn't wind up allowing a run. And hey, if the bullpen can continue to perform like this, this team is going to be looking pretty good come the end of the season, because if you can eliminate, I think the starting rotation is just going to gel and fall into place, and we're going to figure it out, even if it does wind up being Ross Stripling as the 5th starter, or however this all plays out, whether they need to go and bolster this rotation at the trade deadline. I think if the bullpen can continue to be a strong point for this organization, it only bodes well for this team to be a playoff team and to go deep into the playoffs.
I totally agree.
Couldn't agree more. All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to episode 12 of The Long Toss. We do this every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern, live on YouTube, and then it re-releases Monday morning as well. Just one last question here from the YouTube live chat before we go. Could Romano even be in the running for a Cy Young if he keeps this up?
Well, the last reliever to win a Cy Young was Canadian Eric Gagne. He saved 80 games. So it would need to be...
Consecutively.
Absurd.
Consecutively. It would need to be absurd. It would need to be MLB record-breaking. Relievers don't win Cy Youngs. It's just...
It's happened like 4 times in the last 35 years. It's almost a never. Good question. It's a fun thought, but we're certainly going to keep an eye on this Vladdy Romano race, and we'll see if this gains traction on with some other outlets as well. If you're new here, please like, comment, subscribe. We are edging ever closer to 3,000 subscribers here on YouTube. I think 2,975 subscribers. So if we could push closer to 3,000, that would be cool. Big milestone there. Yeah, that's all I got for today. Scott, you just recorded your first stand-up comedy album. Yes. I was there. Joel was there.
Joel was there, and I appreciated
hilarious.
you boys being there. Yeah, so it's going to be called Staying Together for the Cat, and its tentative release date is September. So we'll for sure be plugging that when that happens. So all of you who are like, hey, can I get it? Yeah, I'll annoy you enough. That
you'll hear about it during the playoff
you'll hear
run.
about
it.
Yeah.
All right. Joel,
well, just to add to that, I had never seen Scott do comedy before, and I was like, obviously we're all friends, and it's going to seem like I'm just promoting him. No, this guy is. You don't know how funny Scott is. And Scott is incredibly funny. I was in hysterics for the entire time. There was never a point where I wasn't laughing my ass off, and that's not just because you're my friend and I'm saying nice things. Yeah. It's 100% true. You guys do not get to see that side of Scott. So when this album comes out, you are going to be just shocked at the stuff that comes out of his mouth and how funny it is.
Thanks, Joel.
It was absolutely sensational.